Praful, please turn off your mic.
Is there any class today or not?
According to the schedule, there was a class, right?
Yes. Sir, can you please tell us about today's class?
Hello,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon.
Sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon,
sir.
sir.
Good
Good
evening,
afternoon.
sir.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, sir.
Acha. So today we will discuss the block one, Indian English literature. All of you belong to that category, though. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes. Okay. Actually, it was. I didn't know the technique of all this, so it took time for me. Okay.
No issue, sir. No issue.
Please mute your whenever you want to ask questions towards the end of the meeting, then only you unmute. Otherwise, you keep it muted. Okay. If you want to ask anything, you unmute. So shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Somebody,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
you
sir.
you are
Sir.
Priya, Jyotir, Shivani, Sudha,
Yes,
Prafullo.
sir.
34 students are there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are all English
39, sir.
PG.
39, sir.
39. 30. Oh, sir, 39. So all of you, you have access to the materials. You have the materials before you.
No,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, it
Yes,
is
sir.
Yes, sir.
downloadable, I think. Yes.
Yes, sir. We can download it from the LMS portal.
Yes. I also did the same thing. Okay. The first one is you have eight classes. First one is non-fiction prose. Second class is Mulkraj Anand, Untouchable. Third is Rajarao Kanthura, like this. You have eight classes. Today we'll do non-fiction prose. So anybody among you who can tell me what is prose?
Sir, a context from the chapter or a theory.
What is a prose? How do you define prose? Hello. Do you know what is the definition of prose? Okay. Indian English literature. What is the importance of Indian English literature? To begin with, I can tell you that am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Indian English literature is one of the literatures in English throughout the world. And as you know, this English language was brought to us by the English people. And for 300 years, they ruled over us, and this language went into our blood. And the language policy, the education policy by Macaulay and others. They wanted that. Rather, Ramon Rai also wanted English to be one of the languages to be taught in colleges and schools and universities. So English has been we have already accepted English, and all the writings taken together, the corpus of whole writing in English from India has been called Indian English literature. Okay, so that is the fundamental thing which you must know. And as you know, India is the third largest English using nation after the USA and UK. And as you know, there are many English says. Now, UK has one kind of English, USA has one kind of English, India has one kind of English. So there are English says. And 5%, and in our country, 5% of India's population is using this language, which is larger than the percentage of the users of such other languages in India. It has been an official associate, it has got the status of associate official language. And it is the lingua franca of the world, it's the world language. And as I told you, there are English says, there is no one English, and Indian English has been accepted. And as you know, in the global context, Indian English has also got a good recognition because our writers have got many awards, including Nobel prizes, Nobel Prize in Literature. Um, uh, who has got Nobel Prize in Literature from India? Anybody can say, unmute and
Rabindranath
say.
Tagore.
Rabindranath
Tagore.
Tagore.
Rabindranath
Yes,
Tagore.
yes,
Rabindranath
yes.
Tagore.
Tagore. In 1913, he got Nobel Prize for Literature. And there have been many writers who have got Booker's awards, like Salman Rushdie and Jhumpa Lahiri and Arundhati Roy and Kiran Desai and so many. They have got, that is also next to, I think, Nobel Prize. And this Booker's Award also many, Roy, Rushdie and Bikram Seth, they have got this award. So English from India has been accepted by the whole world. And this Indian English writing began with the first book by uh, who was the first Indian author in English. That is given in 1.1 Indian prose writers. And prose is actually, prose can be defined as the loose sally of the mind. Sally. Sally. Sally means walk. So mind takes a light walk, and whatever the mind perceives, right, jots it down, writes it down. So that is called loose sally of the mind. And prose is loose sally of the mind. And poetry, as you know, is the best words put into the best possible form in a rhythmic way to form poetry. So the difference between prose and poetry is obvious, because in poetry you have to do a lot of selection of language. You have to write in a way so that music comes out of it. Even if there is no regular rhyme pattern, some internal rhythm must be there if it is called poetry. But prose is just a simple work of the mind. Whatever you feel, you write. It can be prolix. Prolix means it can be very verbose, a lot of words. It can be pithy, short, or whatever way you want to. Different writers have different ways. Bacon writes very, Francis Bacon, 17th century English writer. He writes pithy words. That means very concentrated writing. But if you go to suppose Charles Lamb, 19th century, he writes in a very lucid and in a very, say, very prolix manner. Prolix means बहुत गुड़ाए कथा से कई चलिए. And the first writer in English is Dean Mohammed. Dean, Dean. You get all these things in the book, okay? Yeah, just jot down a little so that you can refer to these things while you read the materials, IGNOU materials, which are available on net. And if you have also copies, you can also read that. Dean Mohammed, Dean Mohammed. He had written the Travels of Din Muhammad in 1794. That was the first Indian author in English. And he was in since then many writers have written in English, including our Swami Vivekananda. You have many others who started writing from the very early times. Okay. Dean Mohammed was born in 1759. छोड़ो ये important नहीं है. Travels of Dean Mohammed, a native of Patna in Bengal, through several parts of India while the service of the Honorable East India Company. He was working in the East India Company, and he was toured through different parts of India, and whatever travels experience he got, he put it into a book. The Travels of the Muhammad became the only account by an Indian of life with the East India Company. So East India Company, as you know, the primary purpose of their coming was to loot India, to the so-called civilizing mission. That was the imperial motive. The imperial motive was to civilized, so-called civilized. Actually, why I am calling so-called civilizing mission, because their intention was nothing noble. They wanted to loot the property, the riches of India, and they when they left India, India was left poor because they looted all the thing, and they wanted to administer people, and they wanted to put Indians into a lot of humiliation, and that was all that was the strategy of all these people, the colonial rulers who came to different countries, parts of the world, not only in India, in Africa and many other countries. They came to rule, and their primary purpose was looting, looting and exploiting. But in that process of domination and rule, they also left the language here. So, language of English, which was the language of domination, became a language of education, and that language became so popular with the colonized countries, that all the colonies, Australia, India, Africa, all the countries learned English, and they wrote in English to strike back to the ruler. The empire strikes back. The empire writes back. The empire means all those countries who were under the British rule once upon a time. They are called the empire. And as you know, the empire was so big that once upon a time, the sun never set on the British Empire. It was so big, vast. Now all these colonies have been decolonized, and we have become independent nations. Almost all. Africa, so call it Africa or Nigeria or India or Australia. So Helen Tiffin and others have written The Empire Writes Back. Okay, they have written a book in this post-colonialism, post-colonial times. So my purpose of telling all these things is that they came with a motive to loot, but in the process, they also left a language which became a second important language of our country, not only our country, of many countries. And many important writers have started writing in English, and prose writing also is very prose, as I told you, is important part of genre. Genre, you understand? Genre. Genre means branch. Poetry is a genre, novel is a genre, prose is also a genre. So prose is non-fiction prose. That means factual prose, not fiction. Fiction means novel story. They have fictional prose, but prose here, it means non-fictional prose. They are plain fact. They can be travelogues. They can be essays. They can be what, diaries. Okay, so these different things have been um, written by different writers. So he so Dean Muhammad is chronologically the first, but we do not know whether Later writers like Raja Rammohan Rai were aware of this his work, and Raja Rammohan Rai, he was champion of the Western education in India, and he wanted that English education should be introduced in Indian schools and colleges. So he has written a defense of Hindu theism. That is the first original publication in expository prose. Expository prose means the prose that exposes in the history of Indian writing in English. Raja Ramon Rai, he was born in 1772 and died in 1833. He was the greatest social, religious, and cultural reformer of the period. The son of a rich landlord, he studied Arabic and Persian at Patna and Hindu theology and philosophy at Banaras. He was a Raja. Raja, you understand, king. And kings had a lot of money, and he was a benevolent king. He was a good king. He knew many European languages. He had read Bible in Greek, Hebrew, Latin, and so many other experiences of language he had. And as you know, he founded the Brahma Samaj, a reformist Hindu movement. But he was not a very orthodox kind of Hindu who, and as you know, he had a movement against Sati Pratha or Sati. That means the poor wife, when the husband was dying, she was compelled to jump into the fire and die, commit suicide, a kind of thing. So that was Sati, which was in practice during his time, and he opposed it and he stopped it during Bentinck's time. So he persuaded Bentinck to frame a legislation to ban this cruel custom. So he has written a defense of Hindu theism. That is a prose book, and he has also written letter on English education to address to Governor General Lord uh, Amherst, Amherst, in 1823. That is an example of his prose style. So different people write prose in different styles. Every man or every woman has his or her own style of writing. So his writing reveals clear thinking, logical argument, and he was a master of English prose. The first in a long line of distinguished Indians who used English prose to promote social and political reform. So prose is written for political reform. You may ask me, sir, can other forms of literature not be used for reform? Yes, you can use fiction, you can use poetry, you can use any kind of genre of writing for reformation, for liberation, for freedom. Because during the freedom movement, there were many writers, regional writers as well as Gopabandhu କାରା କବିତା ଲେଖିଥିଲେ, ଆମର ମଧୁସୂଦନ ଦାସ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ, ଫକୀର ମୋହନ ସେ ବି ଲେଖିଥିଲେ ବିରୁଦ୍ଧରେ, କାହା ବିରୁଦ୍ଧରେ, ମାନେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ବ୍ରିଟିଶ ଶାସନ ବିରୁଦ୍ଧରେ। ସେ ତ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ବି ଲେଖିଥିଲେ, ତାଙ୍କ ଫିକ୍ସନରେ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ, ତାଙ୍କ ନଭେଲରେ ଯୋଉ ଛଅ ମାଣ ଆଠ ଗୁଣ୍ଠ ଇତ୍ୟାଦି ଇତ୍ୟାଦି ସବୁ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ। ତେଣୁ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଭାଷାରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ସାହିତ୍ୟର ବିଭିନ୍ନ ବିଭାଗରେ ଏସବୁ ଲେଖା ଅଛି ଫ୍ରିଡମ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟରୁ। ଫ୍ରିଡମ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଏଇ ଇଂଲିଶ ପ୍ରୋଜ ଲେଖା ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଇଥିଲା। So Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, the father of Bengali novel, he wrote the first novel in Indian English that is called Rajmohan's Wife. You please note down or underline this. Rajmohan's Wife, 1864, is the first Indian novel in English. You might have read many novels in English in India, like कार novel तुम पढ़िଛ English रे ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ ଯୋଉ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ଇଂଲିଶ ନଭେଲ୍ସ କୋଉଟା ପଢିଛ? ଆର କେ ନାରାୟଣ ପଢିଛ ନା ନନିତା ଦେଶାଇ ପଢିଛ ନା କାହାକୁ ପଢିଛ?
ଆର କେ ନାରାୟଣ, ଦ ଭେଣ୍ଡର ଅଫ
ଆର କେ ନାରାୟଣ, ଆର କେ ନାରାୟଣଙ୍କର ତମେ ପଢିଥିବ
ମାଲଗୁଡି ଡେଜ୍, ସାର୍
ମାଲଗୁଡି ଡେଜ୍, ସେଟା ଷ୍ଟୋରି ଗୁଡାକ ତାଙ୍କର ଅଛି କଣ ସବୁଠାରୁ, ହଁ ବ୍ୟାଚଲର ଅଫ ଆର୍ଟସ ଇଜ ଭେରି ନାଇସ୍ ନଭେଲ। ତାଙ୍କର ଅଛି ଆଉ କଣ ଅଛି, ସେ ଯୋଉ ଫିଲ୍ମ ହେଇଛି ଗାଇଡ, ଦ ଗାଇଡଟା ବହୁତ ବଢିଆ ନଭେଲ ତାଙ୍କର, ତମେ ପଢିଥିବ।
Yes,
ନ
sir.
ପଢିଛ
Must
ପଢିବ
be.
ନା। ଗାଇଡରେ ବି ଫିଲ୍ମ ହେଇଛି, ଦେବାନନ୍ଦ ଆଉ ସେ ଇଏ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି, ୱାହିଦା ରହମାନ କରିଛି, ସେଥିରେ ରୋଲ କରିଛି, ଗାଇଡ ଫିଲ୍ମ ହେଇଛି। ତ ସେ ଗାଇଡ ନଭେଲ ବି ଆର୍ କେ ନାରାୟଣ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି। ସୋ ଯେମିତି ଆର୍ କେ ନାରାୟଣ ଲେଖିଲେ, ସେ 1930s ପରେ ଲେଖିଲେ। 1930s ରୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଲା ଆର୍ କେ ନାରାୟଣ, ଆମର ମୁଲ୍କରାଜ ଆନନ୍ଦ, ଏସବୁ ଯୋଉ ନୂଆ ନ୍ୟୁ ମଡର୍ଣ୍ଣ ରାଇଟର୍ସ ଫିକ୍ସନ ସେମାନେ ଲେଖିଲେ। ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କର ନଭେଲ ବି ତମର ଅଛି, ଆନନ୍ଦଙ୍କର ଅନଟଚେବୁଲ ବି ଅଛି ତମ କୋର୍ସରେ, ସେଟା ପଢିବା ଆମେ ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାसेସ୍ ଯୋଉଟା ହବ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ନଭେଲ ଲେଖିଲେ କିଏ? ବଙ୍କିମ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଚାଟାର୍ଜୀ, ବେଙ୍ଗଲୀ ଲୋକ। ସେ ଲେଖିଲେ ରାଜମୋହନ's wife, 1864, the first Indian novel in English. And then another person named Romesh Chandra Datta, he a member of the Indian ICS, ସେତେବେଳେ IAS କୁହା ହଉନଥିଲା, ସେ କୁହା ହଉଥିଲା ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ସିଭିଲ ସର୍ଭିସ। ଏବେ ବି ସିଭିଲ ସର୍ଭିସ କୁହା ହଉଛି, IAS IFS ଏସବୁ ହଉଛନ୍ତି ଯୋଉ Indian civil service, is remembered for his vast translation of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. ରାମାୟଣ ମହାଭାରତ କୋଉଥିରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଥିଲା? ସାଂସ୍କ୍ରିଟରେ ବା ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ ବା ଅଲଗା ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜରେ ତାକୁ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସଲେଟ କଲେ କୋଉଠୁ? ଇଂଲିଶରେ। ହି ରୋଟ୍ ନଭେଲ୍ସ ଇନ୍ ବେଙ୍ଗଲୀ। ହୁ? ରମେଶ ଚନ୍ଦର ଦତ୍ତ। ଏଇ ନାଁଟା ମନେ ରଖିବ, ରମେଶ ଚନ୍ଦର ଦତ୍ତ। ହି ରୋଟ୍ Lake of Palms, The Slave Girl of Agra in 1909. So his non-fiction prose works are equally distinguished. He is also a good writer of English prose. ତାପରେ ସେ ଲେଖିଥିଲେ ଇକୋନୋମିକ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ଅଫ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ବି ଲେଖିଥିଲେ, ଆଉ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ରାଇଟର ଅଫ ଇଂଲିଶ ପ୍ରୋଜ୍। ଦେନ୍ वी come to Rabindranath Tagore. 1913 he got Nobel Prize, but he was born in 1861 when he was 39 plus 13. କେତେ? 39 plus 13, like for 52 years he got Nobel Prize. He is the brightest star in the firmament of Bengali literature. As you know, Rabindranath Tagore basically wrote in Bengali, and then he translated his text into English. Gitanjali initially was written in Bengali, but he translated it into English, and William Butler Yeats wrote an introduction to it, and then he got the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. So he has written autobiographical works like My Boyhood Days and Reminiscences are among his famous works. Tagore's prose writings in English were primarily in the focus form of lectures, though his letter to Mahatma Gandhi, the Great Sentinel, is an outstanding composition. ତମେ ଏଇଟା ପଢିଛ କି ନାଇଁ କେଜାଣି? ଦ ଗ୍ରେଟ୍ ସେଣ୍ଟିନେଲ। ସେ ମହାତ୍ମା ଗାନ୍ଧୀକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଚିଠି ଲେଖିଥିଲେ, ତାର ଟାଇଟଲ ହେଲା ଦ ଗ୍ରେଟ୍ ସେଣ୍ଟିନେଲ। ଆଉ ସେଥିରେ ସେ ଭ୍ୟାଲ୍ୟୁଜ ଅଫ ହ୍ୟୁମାନିଜମ ଇନ ଦ ମିଡଷ୍ଟ ଅଫ ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଟର୍ମୋଏଲ। ତମେ ଜାଣିଛ ଗାନ୍ଧିଜୀ ଆଉ ଟାଗୋର ସେମାନେ ବେସିକାଲି ହ୍ୟୁମାନ ଭ୍ୟାଲ୍ୟୁକୁ ବେଶୀ ଗୁରୁତ୍ୱ ଦଉଥିଲେ। ତେଣୁ ତାଙ୍କ ଲେଖାରେ ଗାନ୍ଧିଜୀ ବି ଲେଖିଲେ ପରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ସମୟରେ, but Tagore comes before Gandhi. ସେ ଆଉ କଣ ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ନା ସାଧନା 1913, his first prose work in English. ରବୀନ୍ଦ୍ରନାଥ ଟାଗୋରଙ୍କର ଫାଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ରୋଜ୍ ୱାର୍କଟା କଣ? କିଏ କହିବ? ସାଧନା, SADHANA, ଏଟା ଟିପି ରଖିବ। ତମେ ପଢିଲା ବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଖାତା ରଖିଥିବ ପାଖରେ, ସେଥିରେ ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ନୋଟ୍ କରିଦଉଥିବ। ନୋଟ୍ କରିଦେଲେ ତମର ମନେ ରହିଯିବ। ସେଇଟାକୁ ପୁଣି ପରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟାୟରେ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ବେଳକୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖିବ, ସେଇଟାକୁ ତମେ ସେଇ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଗୁଡାକ ଟିକେ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଟିପିକି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆନ୍ସର କରିବ। ତମ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ତ ହବ ନା, ପରୀକ୍ଷା ବେଳେ ଏଇଗୁଡା ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରିବ। So Sadhana, his first English prose work in English is based on lectures he gave on Indian philosophy at Harvard University. Tagore went to Harvard University and he gave lectures, and all those lectures have been compiled. Compiled ମାନେ ବୁଝଛ? ଏ ଛୁଆ, ଆରେ
ଗୋଟେ
compiled
ଜାଗାରେ ତାକୁ ଏକଜୁଟ କରି ରଖିବା।
very good. ମାନେ ଗୁନ୍ଥିକି ରଖିବା, ଏକଜୁଟ କରିକି ରଖିବା, combine କରିବା. Of his many collections of lectures, nationalism 1913 is very relevant today. What do you understand by nationalism? ତମେ ମାନେ nationalism ଆଉ internationalism ବା nationalism and patriotism ତା ଭିତରେ କଣ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଜାଣିଛ? ଫ୍ରିଡମ ମୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ ଟାଇମରେ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲିଜିମର ବେଶୀ କଥା ଥିଲା, ଏବେ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲିଜିମର କଥା ଆଉ ଉଠୁନି ଏତେ। ଏବେ ତ ହେଇଗଲା ଗ୍ଲୋବାଲାଇଜେସନ, ଇଣ୍ଟରନ୍ୟାସନାଲିଜିମ। ତ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲିଜିମ ସେତେବେଳେ କାହିଁକି ଥିଲା ନା, ବିକଜ ଦେ ୱାଣ୍ଟେଡ ଟୁ ୟୁନାଇଟ ପିପୁଲ, ସୋ ନ୍ୟାସନାଲିଜିମ was the call of the hour. And nationalism was very important because people had to be organized into a solid group to fight against the course of foreign rule. So foreign rule ଟା ଯୋଉ dangerous foreign rule ମାରପିଟ କରିବା, ତମେ ଜାଣିଛ ଏ ଯୋଉ କେମିତି ଜେନେରାଲ ଡାୟର ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ ସବୁ ମାରିଦେଲେ, କେତେ କ୍ରୁଏଲ ରୁଲ୍ସ ହେଲା, ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ହଇରାଣ ହରକତ କରାଯାଉଥିଲା, ତାଙ୍କୁ ଇକ୍ୱାଲ ଷ୍ଟାଟସ ଦିଆଯାଉନଥିଲା, ତାଙ୍କୁ ହେଟ୍ କରାଯାଉଥିଲା। ସୋ when Indians were suffering like cats and dogs in the hands of Britishers, they were misbehaving, they were exploiting, they were beating, they were shooting, they were killing Indians. So they wanted to bring all kinds of revolutions into to control through violent means. So Gandhiji and Tagore also. Tagore was not a very activist kind of person. He was not activist. Gandhiji was an activist because he was in the real politics. He was fighting in the fields. Tagore was writing. He also wrote about nationalism. He also directly participated in all this freedom movement through his writings also. Through their writings, many writers inspired people to fight against this foreign rule, British rule. They were inspired, they were urged upon by these writers through their writings, because they were pamphlets and short these pamphlets of writings were being distributed. People were secretly, they were being printed in secret places, secret printing presses, and they were being distributed. So people, that is how they organized themselves. The leaders organized people to fight against British rule. So Tagore was one of the important writers. Then comes Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo, as you know, he was in the beginning of his career, he was a very brilliant student. He qualified Indian Civil Service, but he obtained record marks in Greek, Latin. ସେତେବେଳେ ସବୁ କଲେଜ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କଲେଜରେ ଲାଟିନ୍ ଗ୍ରୀକ୍ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ପଢ଼ିବାକୁ ତ, ଫ୍ରେଞ୍ଚ, ଜର୍ମାନ, ଇଟାଲିଆନ, ସ୍ପାନିଶ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ ବି ପଢ଼ା, ମାନେ ଯିଏ ପଢ଼ିପାରିବ ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ପଢ଼ା ହଉଥିଲା। କାହିଁକି ନା ସେମାନେ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲେ ଯେ ତାଙ୍କର ସେ ୟୁରୋପିଆନ ଭାଷା ବି ପଢ଼ା ହଉ। ସଂସ୍କୃତକୁ ସେମାନେ ଏତେ ଗୁରୁତ୍ୱ ଦେଉନଥିଲେ। ସେ କହିଲେ ବା ସଂସ୍କୃତ, ମାକଲେ କହିଲେ ବା ସଂସ୍କୃତରେ ଯେତେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ସେଗୁଡ଼ା ଗୋଟେ ୟୁରୋପିଆନ ଲାଇବ୍ରେରୀ ଗୋଟେ କଣରେ ପଶିଯିବ। All the works in Indian Sanskrit and other languages can be pushed to a corner of the British library or European library. ଏମିତି କରିକି ହେୟ ଜ୍ଞାନ କରୁଥିଲେ, କିନ୍ତୁ actually Sanskrit was a very rich language, richer than English. As Sanskrit is our cultural heritage, it's now also being read and Sanskrit is honored by our people, because our most of the scriptures like Vedas, Vedantas, Upanishads, they are written in Sanskrit, and Sanskrit is so popular now. The West is now crazily following Sanskrit versions, Sanskrit slokas and other things. So now they are realizing
Purusha Sukta is daily
Sanskrit.
chanted in some schools of London also.
ଲଣ୍ଡନ, ହଁ, ଭେରି ଗୁଡ୍। ସେ ପୁରୁଷ ସୂକ୍ତ ଆମର ବି ଏବେ ଯୋଉ ଅନର୍ସ, ଇଂଲିଶ ଅନର୍ସରେ ବି ପୁରୁଷ ସୂକ୍ତକୁ ପୁରେଇଛନ୍ତି, ଆଉ କିଛିଟା ସାଂସ୍କ୍ରିଟ ଜିନିଷ ବି ପୁରେଇଛନ୍ତି। ତାକୁ ପଢିବ, ତା ଶ୍ଲୋକ ପଢିବ, ତାକୁ ଇଂଲିଶରେ ବ୍ୟାଖ୍ୟା କରିବ। ସେ ଜିନିଷଗୁଡ଼ା କାହିଁକି ଏବେ ପଶିଲା? କାହିଁକିନା ସେମାନେ ସେତେବେଳେ ସେଇଗୁଡ଼ା ଗୁଡ଼ାକୁ ଉପେକ୍ଷା କରିକି ଫୋପାଡ଼ି ଦେଇଥିଲେ ସବୁ। ଏଇଟା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ, ତମେ ଇଂଲିଶ ପଢ, ଗ୍ରୀକ୍ ପଢ, ଲାଟିନ୍ ପଢ। ଲାଟିନ୍‌ଟାକୁ ସେମାନେ ବହୁତ ବଡ଼ ବୋଲି ଭାବୁଥିଲେ, କାହିଁକି ନା ଲାଟିନ୍ ଆଉ ଗ୍ରୀକ୍ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ଓଲ୍ଡର ଦେନ୍ ଇଂଲିଶ। ଇଂଲିଶ ତ 1300-1400 ଖ୍ରୀଷ୍ଟାବ୍ଦରେ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଲା, 13th 14th ସେଞ୍ଚୁରୀରେ। ତା
Sorry, sir.
ପୂର୍ବରୁ
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. We are from other language, so we can't follow.
ଓହୋ, which language?
No, from Malayalam.
Acha,
Kerala.
okay, okay. Oh, let me only speak in English. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Because I thought all of you are ODIs.
No, sir, I am from Delhi.
No, sir. Speak in English only, sir, please.
Okay, okay, ठीक है.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, okay, I thought there are only Odia boys and girls. Okay,
No, sir.
I'll speak only in English. Okay. Sometimes Odia words may slip from my tongue. Don't mind it, but mostly I will be speaking in English.
Sir,
So
actually, there are
Thank
few
you, sir.
foreign
Thank you.
students
Thank you.
also.
hello, yes.
Sir, there are few foreign students also.
Acha, foreign students. Okay, fine. So he studied classical language at Cambridge and got a first class rank in his degree. He qualified Indian civil service. He learned all these languages like French, German, and other things. He's a brilliant guy. And as you know, he was also a participant in nationalist agitation. He was involved in a bomb bombarding case. He was arrested in 1908 as a terrorist. And then suddenly something happened to him. He gave up politics and he escaped to Pondicherry. There he started his meditation and he started his great works of writings, including epic Savitri. Aurobindo has written many prose pieces like The Life Divine, The Synthesis of Yoga, Heraclitus, and many of his essays on social issues appeared in Arya, a monthly he founded in 1914. He's published a monthly magazine, Arya, Arya. And the Renaissance in India, the foundations of Indian culture. That book is a very seminal book on Indian culture. The Foundations of Indian Culture, written in 1953, is one of the best pieces of prose writings by Sri Aurobindo. Some of you might have gone to Aurobindo place, Pondicherry, Auroville, and you must have seen how there are so many devotees, foreign devotees also, and Indian devotees. He also wrote critical work, The Future Poetry. And in that book, he said that future poetry will be in terms of like incantations. Poetry will take the form of incantations in the future time. He is quite original in his assessment of individual poets. He is recognized as he recognized the achievement of Walt Whitman, calling him the most Homeric voice since Homer, long before in the English academic establishment accepted him. So he was not only an important poet and writer from India, he also recognized writers from the West and America. Walt Whitman, he gave recognition to Walt Whitman. You must have idea about Walt Whitman, how American Walt Whitman was a great poet of democracy, and he has written The Song of Myself, Leaves of Grass. So he's a brilliant poet from America. So long before the English academic establishment accepted him, the two writers who have most important contribution to Indian literary criticism is Ananda K. Ram Kumaraswamy and M. Hiriyana, author of Art Experience and other books on Indian philosophy. The early decades of 20th century witnessed Indians using English very effectively in public speeches. Nationalist leaders like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Mahadev Govind Ranade were great orators. And the greatest orator of the period was V.S. Srinivasa Sastry, a leader of the moderates. There are three types of leaders, as you know. There are extremists, moderates, and liberals. And this V.S. Srinivasa Shastri is known as the silver-tongued orator of the empire. That means he was a moderate revolutionary. He also wrote a number of biographies like Life and Times of Sar Firoz Shah Mehta and My Master Gokhale. Sarojini Naidu. Do you know her? Sarojini Naidu? What is she called? She is called
Nightingale of India.
Yes, Nightingale of India, because she also wrote beautiful poetry, and she was occupying big posts like governor and other posts in India, and she has written beautiful poems. You must have read her poem, the what beautiful poems, Palanquin Bearers, the palanquin bearers, in which the bridegroom or the bride goes, the people carry it on their shoulders. She has written a beautiful poem on that. Bangle sellers also she has written. So her poetry is highly romantic. Sarojini Naidu, better known for her poetry, showed her mastery of prose also in her speeches. Because while she gave speeches, those speeches were recorded, and there are great prose pieces which are being read today. Another leader of Gandhian era is C. Rajagopalachari or Rajaji. Rajaji has written versions of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Rajaji's Ramayana, Rajaji's Mahabharata. Many Indian writers have written Ramayana and Mahabharata in their own way, in English, in regional languages also. And Rajaji, Rajgopalachari, he revealed his mastery of English through his writings of you may say translations, or you may say versions, because they were creations of the writer. They followed the basic story of Ramayana and Mahabharata and wrote it in their own English. But the most important leader and thinker of the era is Mahatma Gandhi, and after whom this period has been named. In terms of literary merit, Jawaharlal Nehru was the greatest writer of this period, and the most critics agree that his autobiography the best work in the genre. Genre, you understand? Genre means the branch of literature. Prose is a genre. So in post-independence times, after independence, you have got another brilliant writer named S. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, 1888 to 1975. He taught philosophy at leading universities in India and abroad. And he was the president of India. He was a prolific writer, and he has written books like Indian Philosophy, The Hindu View of Life, The Principal Upanishads, History of the Sikhs. All these books he has written, and the leading critics in the field of Indian English literature are they belong to this time also, post-independence times. K.R. Srinivasa Iyengar, C.D. Narasimhaya, M.K. Naik. Srinivasa Iyengar has written the history of Indian English literature. M.K. Naik also has written that, the history of Indian English literature. Meenakshi Mukherjee, she is also another important scholar who has written the twice born fiction, and that is also critical prose. You may ask me question, what is the prose and critical, the difference between prose and critical prose? So criticism of a book of an author, that in whatever prose it is written, it is called critical prose. And other issues which are written in English are called simple prose. So then you have there are many biographies, autobiographies, travelogues, historical and culture studies, and social criticism, which are also written in prose, non-fiction, that they are called non-fiction prose biographies. So under the banner of non-fiction, we have not only simple prose and critical prose, but also we have biographies, autobiographies, travelogues. Travelogues, you understand? Travel writing, historical and cultural studies, and social criticism. Neeraj Singh Chaudhary has written books of all these types. Neeraj Singh Chaudhary is an Indian Bengali who lived in England throughout, and he always tried to behave like a sahib. He hated Indian culture. He is famous for his English style of living, but he was an unknown person in England, London town he was staying, and he has written an unknown Indian, his books. The autobiography of an unknown Indian, 1951, he wrote this book. And there is another book, Thy Hand, Great Anarch. And then he has written a passage to England. All of you might be knowing that E.M. Foster wrote a book, A Passage to India. Has anybody among you read that? Passage to India? Anybody who has written? Anybody who has read that among you? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Passage to India is a book, a novel, which actually deals with the possibility of establishing relationship between India and England through a story. That's a novel. But here, Passage to England is a prose piece, is a travelogue. Maybe E.M. Foster took this title to write Passage to India because he was interested much in Indian culture. So Neeraj C. Chaudhary's books on history, culture, religion, and Indian society include The Continent of SARS, The Intellectual in India, Hinduism, A Religion to Live By, Three Horsemen of New Apocalypse. These are the books which he has written. And his biographies include Scholar Extraordinary, The Life of Max Muller, and he won the Sahitya Academy Award and Clive of India, 1975. He reveled in provoking controversy. His first book was dedicated to the memory of the British Empire because all that was good and living within us was made, saved, and quickened by the British rule. He was a great admirer of British rule. He said he was in support of the British rule, and he hated Indian culture and other things. He didn't like Indian style of living and all things. And there are many other writers also who have written about the filthy aspects of India. Uh, he was one of them. A land where the original energetic Aryans had been turned into slothful pigs by the climate. He denounced India as the continent of SARS, a land where the original energetic Aryans had been turned into slothful, you understand, pigs by the climate. Most readers are irritated by the human gadfly, full of his own importance. His long, complex sentences, full of long-end allusions. He makes references to only Western culture. He doesn't like Indian culture.
Excuse me,
And
sir.
difficult. Eh?
Hello.
Hello.
As sir, what is the meaning of slothful?
Slothful means lazy pigs. Sloth, what animal? There is an animal called sloth, which moves in a very slow manner. If you see the National Geographic Channel, or you just see the movement of sloth in Google, you can see
Sloth
that
bear.
clearly. That moves in a very slow way. Sloth Indians, he called Indians slothful pigs. So can is this actually the kind of language you should use for your own people? No doubt Indians were lazy, are lazy, but using such filthy language against Indians was also not expected. His long, complex sentences, full of long-end allusions, difficult words, are not very readable, but much of his criticism of Indian society is based on fact. His books cannot be ignored by any serious student of Indian literature or culture. Then we have Hiroshi Chaudhary. Then we come to, oh, mm, yes, we come to Jawaharlal Nehru. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, Gopal. Yes, Gopal. So, yes, Gopal is our Radhakrishnan's son. Yes, Gopal. He wrote Sarvapalli Gopal. He was JNU professor. Okay. In 1976, he got Sahitya Academy Award for his book Jawaharlal Nehru, a distinguished historian. After working as director of the historical division and minister of external affairs, he went back to teaching at the universities like JNU. JNU, understand? Jawaharlal Nehru University in
Yes,
Delhi.
sir.
A
Yes.
biography of his father is Radhakrishnan, also he wrote. Remarkable for his candid portrayal, Professor Gopal makes no attempt to cover up anything, not even regarding the marital life of his distinguished father, Jawaharlal Nehru. So you have many stories, very interesting stories about Jawaharlal Nehru and Lady Mountbatten. That part also he deals very frankly. And biography he has written, Jawaharlal Nehru biography by um, S. Radhakrishnan. So that is considered a definitive work in the field. Gopal's work, as befits a scholar, is loaded with facts and references, fully footnoted. Footnoted means you understand. Writing footnotes. Suppose you are writing something, one sentence you quote from somebody, there you mark that mark one or two. Then in the at the bottom part of your writing, you footnotes. You write this part is quoted from so such and such sources. So that is called footnote writing. Footnoted means you tell about the references at the end of the writing or at the bottom of the writing. That is called footnote. Okay. And so, if you give footnotes, that means you are authenticating your writing. He is involved in this subject and doesn't, he's a good writer, all that he wants to say. And then let us come to Rajmohan Gandhi. Rajmohan Gandhi, 1935 born, he is an important prose writer. He has written the biography of Sri Rajgopalchari and Rajaji Alive.
Excuse me, sir.
And yes,
Sir, from where you are reading?
I'm referring to your syllabus from IGNOU. Is a that is MEG-7 Block 1.
But sir, I
Okay,
didn't get it.
you didn't
Page
get it.
15.
No,
Hmm?
no, no, sir.
No, you at your leisure you read at home. Okay,
Page
and
15.
hmm?
Page 15.
Maybe page I don't know. Page 15. Yes, page 15. Yes, you have rightly noted. Okay,
Okay, sir.
okay.
Thank you.
Uh, So the Rajgopalchari, see, he's. We have to refer to all these sources. Otherwise, one cannot. You have to remember some of the important things from this place. Okay, and many leading novelists have written travelogues. You know R.K. Narayan as a novelist, but you should know that R.K. Narayan has also written a travelogue which is in English prose. That is the Emerald Route and his Deathless Diary. This is a very famous book. And Salman Rushdie, another important writer who got Booker Prize. Rushdie is famous for which book? Anybody can who can tell?
Satanic verses, I think.
Satanic Verses. Any other book about India? About India, Salman Rushdie has written a book. Anybody who can tell? Out of 34 now, There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 32 students. Initially, there were how many students? 42,
39.
39. This has come down to uh, 31. Then 8 students have left already. Was the class boring so that they left?
No, sir. No, sir. No boring.
What?
No, sir.
I
Interesting,
don't
sir.
know what was the reason for that. Okay, maybe we see.
They may have some problems.
Because
They may have some
huh?
problems, so they left.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, this is not poetry or novel which can be made interesting, because this is the pure kind of history of English prose, Indian English prose. So history, as you know, cannot be made much interesting because they are depend on facts, and I have to give those facts to you for your examination and for your references. Once we discuss it here, it becomes easy for you to remember while you read it by yourself, or you write it in the examination. So there are also travelogues written by Bikram Seth, another important writer. Amitabh Ghosh. Amitabh Ghosh recently got a prize. What is that prize? Anybody can tell? Amitabh Ghosh, anybody has read? Amitabh Ghosh is a very important writer in India, from India, and the Hungry Tides. He has written about
The Leaping Mountain.
Sundarban. Huh?
The Leaping
Yes,
Mountain.
Living Mountain, Glass Palace, and many books he has written. And Amitabh Ghosh came to Bhubaneswar during the Bhubaneswar Literature Festival. We had an opportunity to listen to him. He's a brilliant speaker also, and highly researched books he has written. So
Sir,
they have also written, yes,
sir, you have not completed the Salman Rushdie's book.
yes. Salman was the Midnight Children. Have you read? Salman Rushdie, I have not seen him face to face, but I have read him. Salman Rushdie is a brilliant writer. He got the Booker Award twice. So he's
Okay.
a great celebrity writer, and he was targeted by these some Muslim mafias to be. They
Yeah,
had issued
because of
fatwas
this
kill
satanic
him,
weapon. Yeah.
But actually, the satanic verses, he makes a caricature of something which is controversial. But every we have in you have a freedom of speech. We can freedom of writing. Like Taslima Nasrin also is targeted because of her frank writings. So anybody who opens her mouth against a established institution or a religion is targeted by people who are fanatics. Okay, so Bikram Seth and Amitabh Ghosh, they have also written travelogues, and we have many other such writers who have written travelogues. V.V. John has written in a witty manner of modern India, especially the educational scene, in his collections of essays like Light Logges, The Great Classroom Hoax, and Jogsurya. Jogsurya, the newspaper columnist, has published collections of light essays like A Test for the Jugular, The Great Indian Bores. These are some of the writings uh, by some journalists, and one is a Britisher. B.V. John is a Britisher, and when he was staying in India, he has written this. So next we come to forms and varieties of prose. Prose can be of different types, because prose and poetry, they have a difference. As I told you, Prose is functional and used for non-literary purposes also. Because suppose you write a what? You write a note on something, or you write you write about some a personal problem as an application to somebody. So it's a functional thing, prose, and a prose can be used for non-literary purposes. For example, you are writing a case diary. The police is writing a case diary. A judge is writing a judgment. That is not literary. That is purely functional prose. Okay. Um, though some landmark judgments sometimes contain poems, some lines at the beginning of the judgment, some quote some great poets like Shakespeare and others. But that cannot be called totally literary. That is the functional part of prose. But there are also literary prose writings like biographies, autobiographies, and prose can employ all the rhetoric techniques. Rhetoric techniques means simile, metaphor. You know what is simile, metaphor? Simile means comparisons between two dissimilar things. Metaphor means implicit comparison. Personification means where suppose attributes, qualities can be personified. Honesty is the best policy. Honor came to speak. This is personification. The tree said, suppose I say, I write, tree said, flowers don't fall from me. Suppose, then I'm personifying the tree. Hyperbole. Hyperbole means making a big issue out of a small thing, writing big about hyperbolic statements, big blowing up things. Understatement. Understatement means blowing down. That means making small of something. Irony. Irony means writing in a way which creates, which gives you the opposite of what you say is the opposite of what you mean. Oh, you are such a great talent. Suppose I say like this. Actually, I mean to say that you are not a talented person. But I say, oh, I see that you are a very talented person. So from the tone itself, it appears that I am trying to ridicule him, but I am saying that you are a great person. So this is called irony. Irony means where you are meaning the opposite of what you are saying. And these tools, these technical tools, literary tools, are used in prose. Prose, and these tools are also used in poetry. Look, modern days, there is not much of difference between prose and poetry. Bikram Seth wrote the novel Golden Gate, for which he got this prize, Booker's Award. He wrote it in sonnet form, poetic form, novel written in poetic form, sonnet form. So novels are being written in sonnets, and that means the distinction between prose and poetry is slowly disappearing. Prose too can be rhythmic, though rhythm in prose is different from the music of poetry. Prose, it is called rhythm, rhythmical prose. There is a great poet here in Cuttack who was there. He died recently, Jayanta Mahapatra. He was writing prose, and if you read his prose writings, you will find that they are pure rhythmical poetry. There is much of poetry in his um, prose. Literary genres can use either prose or verse. Traditionally, the epic has always been in verse, but the qualities of an epic can be found in Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, written in prose. Tolstoy wrote War and Peace in prose, but that is very poetic. The novel by Ruskin, Eugene Onegin, is a novel written in verse. Inspired by Pushkin, Bikram Seth has also written a novel in the sonnet form, The Golden Gate. Has anybody among you read The Golden Gate? For which book did Bikram Seth get the Booker's Award? Can anybody tell? The Suitable Boy. A Suitable, The Suitable Boy. For that book, he got Booker Award. So Bikram Seth is a very important writer from India. And you have also many other writers, non-fictional prose writers, like are you listening?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
There
Yes, sir.
are yes, yes. There are the different kinds of prose. Three main varieties of prose. One is descriptive. The other one is narrative. The third one is expository. So descriptive is understandable. Descriptive prose is used to describe a person, thing, or a place. So you are describing a palace, you're describing a person, you are describing a flower. A good description vividly recreates the object or event in such a way that we feel that we ourselves have seen, heard, and experienced it. Some descriptions can be impressionistic. That means they present things from a particular, very personal point of view. And impressionist description reveals not just the object, but the sensibility of the person who is observing it. On the other hand, we can have descriptions, especially of places, which have a kind of photographic realism. Photographic realism means the realism will appear as if you are witnessing the whole fact in your eyes. Photographic realism. When we read the passage, we feel that we are looking at photographs or videotapes of the place. Then we have narrative prose. Narrative prose means you are narrating, describing things, but narrating events, narrating stories. So a narrative deals with what happens over the course of time. So action observes our attention. Narration can be slow or fast. It can be exciting, colorful, heightened, a matter of fact, factual. It can be highly imaginative or purely objective. Narrative can deal with external happenings. Okay. So narrative writings can be of different types. And if we have a fiction based on actual events, such as a novel, such a novel is called not fiction but faction. Fact plus fiction is faction. Non-fiction novel. Factual novel. Example is Truman Capote's novel In Cold Blood. Deals with crime and punishment in Kansas based on interviews with the accused. Normal Mailer, a true life novel, The Executioner's Song, these are called factions. So, narrations, narrative novels or narrative writings, then expository prose. First is descriptive, then is narrative, third one is expository. Expository prose defines, explains. It is a explaining kind of prose. Expository means explaining things. Okay, expository prose defines, explains subjects, scholarly writings on science, technology, philosophy, religion, political science, economics, etc. falls under the category of expository. Because in technology or philosophy or political science or economics, you have to explain things. That is why this is, and whatever language, whatever prose you explain in, that is called expository. So expository prose explains, narrative prose narrates, descriptive prose describes. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we come to Swami Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, and Ananda Kumaram. I'll so briefly describe this, discuss this. Swami Vivekananda was, as you know, the pride of India, the great son of India who championed the cause of humanism and Hinduism and gave such talks at the Chicago Religion Conference, World Religion Conference, that that became a great hallmark of Indian culture, Sanatan Dharma. So he was the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and he had a thorough understanding of India's poverty, India's problems, India's culture, and he addressed the Parliament of Religions in 1893. And he has also contributed immensely to prose writings in English. And his non-fiction prose includes um, books like his paper on Hinduism, which with which he addressed the people at Chicago, and what is the most important line that he told at the religious religion conference, World Religion Conference? Brothers and sisters of my dear brothers and sisters of America.
America.
Um, Vivekananda ends his speech with an appeal to all assembled people to move to a new era of inter-religious harmony and tolerance. You know, nowadays we're talking too much about tolerance, lacking tolerance. And there is racial intolerance, there is religious intolerance, there is caste intolerance. In India, there is too much of caste. There was too much of caste intolerance, which is slowly growing down, coming down. And Vivekananda believed that America's destiny was to achieve this, to achieve inter-religious harmony. Inter-religious harmony and tolerance is very important for the progress. Only progressing through technological progress, scientific progress cannot take you too far. Religion um, is actually not religion. Inter inter-religious harmony is important, and in other words, spiritual harmony is very important. If spiritually we are not improving, then there is no need for religion. Religion is very narrow word. What we actually need is really spiritual improvement. Can anybody among you differentiate between religion and spiritualism? Hmm? How do you differentiate religion and spirituality? Anybody among you who can differentiate?
Sir, can I speak in Odia?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Actually, sir, religion କହିଲେ ଆମେ ହିନ୍ଦୁ, ମୁସଲିମ, ଶିଖ, ଜୈନ, ବୁଦ୍ଧିଜିମ ୟାକୁ ସବୁ ଆମେ ରିଲିଜିଅନ କହିପାରିବା। ବାକି ଯିଏ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲ ସ୍ପିରିଚୁଆଲିଜିମକୁ ମାନେ ସ୍ପିରିଚୁଆଲିଟିକୁ ଗେନ୍ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହେଁ ବା ସ୍ପିରିଚୁଆଲ ୱେରେ ଯିବାକୁ ଚାହେଁ, ସେମାନଙ୍କର ମେନ୍ ମୋଟୋ ହେଉଛି ଆମର ଡେଷ୍ଟିନେସନ କ'ଣ, ହୁ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଆମେ କିଏ, ଠିକ ଅଛି, what is our real destination, who am I actually, right? So ସେଇଟାକୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଜାଣିବା ସେଇଟାକୁ ଆମେ ସ୍ପିରିଚୁଆଲିଜିମ୍ କହିବା କି ଆମେ ସ୍ପିରିଚୁଆଲ ୱେରେ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି।
Jyoti, can you
ବାକି
please speak in English?
Actually, you are right. You are absolutely right. Actually, what she tells is that religions are different paths to spirituality. Spirituality questions about who are you, how to whom do you belong, where from you have come, where to you will return. So all these spiritual, all these metaphysical questions come in under spirituality. Religion is a particular path which has been carved by a particular sect or a group, by a religious leader, that you come this way, you will get God. But their religions are different ways to the same path, same destination. Destination is spirituality. But we have wrongly replaced spirituality with religion to such an extent that religions are come to class. Some say we are superior in religion. Some say we are still superior. So there are fightings between religious groups. So actually, really, if at a time comes where religions get less importance and spirituality gets the real importance, then these barriers will fall down. That is what actually is meant by spirituality. And spirituality, all these great songs of India like Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, they practiced spirituality. They didn't talk about only particular religion. And Vivekananda proved that Sanatan Dharma is the conglomeration of all religions. Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, all are part of this, not Hinduism exactly, that is Sanatan Dharma. Hindu Dharma is Sanatan Dharma. So that he proved in that Parliament of Religions through his speech. And his speech is a big is a very important writing in Indian English prose. Then let us come to Aurobindo. Aurobindo has written very famous book Savitri, which is a classic, but that is poetry. But he has also written many other books in prose. And what are those prose pieces? He has written The Life Divine, Synthesis of Yoga, The Secret of the Veda. These are the most important prose writings by. I don't know whether you have read any of these books. They are so heavy with knowledge and wisdom. The Synthesis of Yoga, especially. And Aurobindo has also written The Future Poetry. That book you should read if you are interested in doing research on Aurobindo in future. Secret of Veda also he has written. So these are the books which the foundations of Indian culture by Sri Aurobindo is a very important book that he has written. So now let us have a 5-10 minutes of discussion. Then we will go ahead with the other things which we have to complete today. Now, I invite questions from you
Sir, it is not
because I
speak,
just
but
reading out and you listening doesn't actually fulfill the purpose. There should be interactive. The class should be interactive. You should ask questions. Asa, may I know some of you? Can you introduce yourselves in one line each, or 2-3 lines each?
sure, sir.
Vigyano. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Vijayan Anthony from Dubai. Now, I'm,
Dubai.
yeah, I am staying here, but I am an Indian from Kerala. But
Wow.
I'm working here in the Dubai government department. Even if I am a senior citizen, I have completed 65 years. Right now, I likely to just have one degree. That is the reason I joined with this IGNO.
You are now 65 years.
Yeah, sir.
Still, you have interest in study.
Yeah, that
That
is the reason.
you
Not
will be
only this
appearing
one.
this. This is
Yeah,
first semester. This is first semester of English PG.
yeah.
That's it.
And
So
I
where will you
am.
appear? You will appear online from that Saudi Arabia, from Dubai.
Yeah.
Online examinations.
Yeah, online. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
And
You are
also,
working in which department?
uh, government public transport department
Very good. So
in
Dubai is a
Dubai.
nice place. Dubai is a nice place.
Why not? Please visit here, sir. I
And
will be here.
many Indians are going to visit Dubai, and Dubai has got a
It's
lot
a,
of foreign exchange, foreign money
yeah, yeah, yeah.
through this tourism this year. Many people direct Dubai flights are there in ownership.
Yeah, I think it is the best way. And once you must just
But
come here
Dubai
to
is
see Dubai.
now it must be very hot.
No, no, now it is cool.
Cool.
Winter
अच्छा, ठीक
season.
है.
Winter season is finishing now.
Okay.
Next
Well,
month,
thank you,
next month.
Vijayan.
Hmm.
Well, I very happy to interact with you. Next, please, Prafulla.
Eksa namaskar.
You are from
Kendrapura from.
Kendrapada. You will also be appearing this online examination. All of you have online examination. No,
Yes,
you're
sir.
not attest. Huh?
No, sir.
No
No, sir.
offline exam, sir. Offline examination.
Only online examinations.
No, sir. Offline
No, sir.
examination.
Ah,
Offline
exam is
No, sir. Offline examination.
offline exam.
अच्छा. अच्छा, Kendrapada, Prafulla, you will also be appearing online examination or offline.
Offline, sir. Offline.
Where is your center?
Kendrapura
JKVK.
Autonomous College.
Kendrapada Autonomous College. Oh,
Okay,
very
sir.
good.
Okay, sir.
Then you have Chavi or somebody? Chavi Jain.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm
Hmm.
from Delhi and I'm a online mode student.
Okay. Very good. What are you doing in service?
No, sir.
Or you are a purely student?
Yes, sir.
That's a very good. Then I have got Sudarshan Sahu.
Yes, sir. Good
What are
evening,
you
sir.
doing? Good evening.
I am in cooperative sector, sir.
Corporate sector. Very good. Then we have Trinatha Gadei.
Yes, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
I am from Keonjhar, Odisha.
I was in DD college for 8 years.
Okay, sir.
I
Now
was in.
DD College has been a DD university, sir.
Acha. Do you know my name?
No, sir. I don't.
I'm Professor Saroj Padhi.
Okay, sir.
Professor Saroj Padhi,
Yes,
retired in 22 from JKBK Government College.
yes, sir.
Retired as a professor of English. I have
Okay.
done research on Indian English literature, especially Jayant Mahapatar, Kamala Das, and Nissim Ezkil. I
Okay,
also
sir.
write poems, and I have published about put in collections of poetry, and they are available in Amazon. Saroj K. Padhi. You just
Okay, sir.
uh, write that. Saroj Saroj K
Yes.
Padhi. You search Amazon and you will see all my books.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Then Sibani, are you there?
Good evening, sir.
Shivani Upadhyay. Yes.
Yes, good evening, sir. My name is Shivani Upadhyay. I am from India, Gujarat.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You are doing some job.
No, before I left the job, I do teaching, sir,
Where?
in Vadodara.
In a school or a college?
No, no, in school, in school.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Bimala Naik.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. I am
What?
from Berhampur.
Barampur.
Yes, sir.
I did my PhD from Barampur. Professor Niranjan Mahanti was my guide. He retired in Santiniketan. He retired from life. He didn't retire from job. He died there in Santiniketan. He was a professor in Barampur when I was doing PhD there. So Barampur is a nice place. You are staying in Barampur.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's nice. You are doing job.
Yes, sir. I am in the school.
Very good, very good. After completing PG, you switch over to some college. Okay, through this
Let us see
SSB,
what is going to be.
through because IGNOU students are also appearing in appearing SSB and PSC. They are getting also. Okay, all my best wishes. Then Bimala Naik.
Sir, I spoke.
Oh, you spoke. Suchi, you spoke. Suchi Smita
Pranam, sir.
Sahu.
Pranam,
Yes.
sir. My name is Suchishmita Sahu. I am from Balasore, Odisha.
I went to AFM University to give a talk on Jayanta Mahapatra. About a month back, I went to FM University. Sachidananda Mahanti and myself, we were the guests we spoke there. Balasur is a nice place.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You are doing some job?
So now I am working at a residential school and trying for government school.
Very good, very good. All my best wishes. You complete this PG, then you will get. Okay. Then Priya, Topno.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes, one or two sentences about yourself.
Sir, I am Priya Tokno and I am from Rourkela, Odisha.
Very good. You doing something?
No, sir, I am student.
It's very good. Then Gopal, Gopabandhu Acharya.
Sorry, sir. I'm Moitri Acharya. I use my father's
Oh,
ID.
okay. Okay, no problem. Maitri.
I'm a, I'm a teacher, high school teacher in
Very
Nayagarh.
good. Very Noyagad.
Yes, sir.
Noyagad is a very sensitive place. अच्छा ठीक है चित्तरंजन चित्तरंजन
Sir, namaskar. Sir, namaskar.
हाँ मिश्रा
Sir, myself Chittaranjan Mishra from Noyagod district, and
अच्छा
I am working as an elementary teacher under school and mass education department.
very good very good actually elementary education is very important
Yes,
those
sir.
who are at the elementary stage they are the nation builders we at the college level we do little you are the pillars of the society
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Jyotirmoyi
Yes, sir. Sir, pranam.
Hmm.
Sir, my name is Jyotirmoy Vishwal. I'm from Jajpur.
Okay
And I'm a PO student.
you are my student
I mean, I'm a student, not doing any
oh you are
job.
अच्छा अच्छा then anybody who is left out please speak Angana Malik.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, I'm Angana Malik from Kolkata,
Wow, very
and
good.
I'm also a
Kolkata is a nice.
student.
Very good.
Yes.
You are not doing any job, but you do
No,
a
I'm
job
a
after
student.
you complete PG. Hmm.
Yes.
You getting a job will
I'm
be
passionate
easier.
about teaching, so yeah, I'm
You are
passionate
fascinated.
in teaching, so I'm
No, you will
going through
definitely
that.
after this MA degree you do some B.Ed or something, or directly if you good secure good marks you appear for a lectureship and you will get. Then Sasmita Sahu. Sasmita, are you there?
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I am from Rourkela,
Yes.
and presently I am working as a teacher.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Rajashree Barik.
Yes, sir, Pranam. Sir, actually,
Yes.
I am from Baleshwar.
Hmm.
Actually, sir, I am now preparing for a special educator and
Hmm.
elementary teacher.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Then you have uh,
Actually, sir, I
Nasreen.
am completed special BD, so that I am preparing
Ve-
from this.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Nasreen Ruby Panda.
Good evening, sir.
Hmm.
I am from Asika, Ganjam.
Acha.
I am a housewife.
Hmm.
Right now, I wish to do post graduation in English, so I started
Okay.
my studying.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Dib, Dibya Lakshmi.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hmm.
Sir, I'm from Bhadrak.
Hmm.
Presently, I'm doing now teaching on my childhood school.
Very good. I was in Bhadrak Autonomous College for a few years. That's a nice place. Okay,
Yes, sir.
continue your teaching. Then
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Subandita, are you there? Tanuja, Rajashree.
Pranam sir, I am Rajashree Rana from Jaspur.
Okay, okay, fine. So let us come back to our. I think I have talked with everybody.
Yes, sir.
You can leave your opinions about my talk, wherever if there is a space anyway. Okay, then we will talk about Sri Aurobindo. We talked about, and he said that there are no distinctions between countries and cultures, and there is no basic conflict between India and the West. So he brought about a synthesis of all kinds of cultures in his writings, and his spirituality is not anybody's monopoly. Maybe religion is somebody's monopoly, but spirituality is a greater. As I told you, is spirituality the open sky? Religion is at the bird flying in the open sky. Religion is the bird in a cage. That is how I see the difference between religion and spirituality. What makes India special in spirituality is that we are considered to be the center of spirituality of the whole world. And as you know, India is being followed all over the world now. Indian culture, Indian way of praying, Sanskrit verses, all these things, as you told, are being followed throughout the world. So, these torchbearers of Indian culture and religion, Indian spirituality, Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, as you know, in Aurobindo's place, there are a congregation of people from all over the world, and they find Aurobindo's writings and his way of transcendental meditation. He discovered transcendental meditation, all which he has discussed in synthesis of yoga and other books. In Future of Poetry, he has talked about poetry and how poetry can take you to the spiritual level, spiritual heights. He talks about India must defend herself by reshaping her cultural forms to express more powerfully, intimately, perfectly her ancient ideal. Her aggression must lead the waves of light, thus liberated in triumphant self expanding rounds all over the world, which it once possessed and at least enlightened in far off ages. And
Madam,
you
one minute,
have
sir.
the yes.
Who introduced this transcendental meditation? What the name?
Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo discovered transcendental meditation,
So
where you can
Aravinda. Okay. See Aravinda. Okay.
Sri Aurobindo. And this transcendental meditation is the meditation through which you can reach a height where you transcend everything. You transcend religion, you transcend world, where you transcend birth, death, everything. You come to a consciousness where the world, where life is nothing but pure consciousness.
Okay.
And he has just discussed that thing. If you read that book, the synthesis of yoga, I think you will come to understand that much better. It is very difficult to explain what he means by transcendental meditation easily. Okay. And the
Okay,
last
sir.
person is Ananda Kentis Kumaramaswamy. He is an extraordinary geologist, art scholar, collector, curator, philosopher, and he studied he is actually from Sri Lanka, but he spent a lot of time. He's from South India, He spent a lot of time. He belongs to he belongs to born of an English mother, Elizabeth, and Sri Lankan Tamil father. Born in Colombo. His father was a leading member of the native society in Sri Lanka, the first Asian to qualify for the bar. He went to Wycliffe School, and he did well in the school and BSc in the University College London. Visited Sri Lanka and spent only little over 3 years in Sri Lanka, but major contributions. The University of London gave him doctorate, um, and he has been considered as a great writer of English prose. Uh, whether in Ceylon or in India, he found the remnants of a great civilization now gasping for breath under the imperial yoke. He found a fascinating continuity between the rich handicrafts and between classical art. Kumaramaswamy felt that the regeneration of India would be possible through a revitalization of its art and craft. So he has written essays in national idealism, 1911, and it consists of 15 essays on the themes of Indian nationality and gramophones and why not, the influence of modern Europe on Indian art, memory and education, all these things. So he used the word national idealism. National nationalism, as I told you, was in great force during the freedom movement times, pre-independence times, because nationalism means love of the nation and not necessarily love of other nations. But patriotism means love of your own nation, but not any kind of negative feelings towards other nations. But nationalism involved a little bit of disliking of the other nations. It's a strong, stench, aggressive love of one's own nation. That is the difference between nationalism. And now, in the age of internationalism, there is no importance of nationalism because nations have become parts of the global village. Okay, so this is, I think, enough for today. To next class is on 4th. We will be discussing that class. Hope you enjoyed this class. Did you enjoy this class?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Sure.
sir.
Sure.
Very much.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We
And
will be
also, sir,
discussing.
I have one question, not question. Why
Yes.
the class start from 4 o'clock from India, right? Indian time. That
Yes.
means, yeah, here at 2:30. That means when I just finish my duty, is the time is there 2:30. Then after then I will be driving only up to 3 o'clock. There have any chance
Oh,
to
you
go
can
at the
join. You
time?
can join from your own time, whatever time is suitable to you. But actually, the class should begin at 4. Today, I was really confused how to start that because I am also new to this online class. I was
Okay.
taking offline classes at Rebinsa and JKBK colleges, but I never took this online class. So
So what I can
I took
expect there?
the help of my daughter to she taught me how to come to this online class. She gave me.
Okay.
That is why it was a bit late. I came to you at from 4 o'clock. Went on trying. At
Hmm.
4:15, I became successful in joining all the students. So
Hmm.
you know the that you know that link. So you can join the link, and some of you take the trouble of opening the link
Okay.
and inviting me.
Okay. While I driving, I can just switch on the mobile. No problem. I can just listen
Yes,
what
no
you are saying.
problem. No, you can listen. You
Okay.
go driving and listening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, sir.
Acha, one of you, please take the responsibility of starting the link and inviting me so that I will join immediately because it is difficult for me because as I'm an old timer, I don't know much about this. Ah, WhatsApp.
Actually,
Uh,
sir,
you can send the link to my WhatsApp.
Sir,
Okay. You can send the link to my WhatsApp. I will join.
sir,
Your
Yes.
number, sir.
sir,
Your
hi,
700.
sir. I am from the online mode, so my exam will be also online.
I don't know much about that. I will ask our regional college professor in charge and tell you only next class.
Okay, okay, sir.
So you note down my number, one of you, please, and
Okay,
invite
sir.
me to join the Google Meet.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, you put the link in my WhatsApp now. WhatsApp.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I will join. Will it be
702.
700 8375 700 8375 307
Repeat again, sir. Repeat again.
700
Agya.
83
Agya.
75
Agya.
307. You can make a group of all your students. You can form a group, and in that group you keep me. Okay,
Okay,
and
sir.
that group, and
Okay.
you can share the link with others,
Okay, sir.
and make me join. Invite me to join.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Sharp
can you
at
please
4.
share some notes, sir?
Notes, look, notes are there in the IGNOU material itself is a note. And all the things have been conglomerated. They have been combined in that book. You read that book, that is sufficient for your preparation for the examination. I don't think you need further notes. You read that material, listen to my talk, make some notes, and during the before the examination, you just read those notes, and whatever comes to your mind, you write down.
Sir, for
Okay.
this
Thank
Indian
you,
English
sir.
literature,
So
the
sir, which is
questions,
the
how
last
may be
date of
the,
exam?
Thank you very much,
Yes.
sir.
it will come just like essays or something, this
Yes.
Indian English literature.
Uh,
Question type, normally for the exam, how it comes? It will come just like an essay or other short notes or
that
something.
pattern also I don't know. I don't know. I'll check and I'll tell you. I'll try to get this online. You don't get these questions. You can search online in the IGNOU. I think that
Hello.
these questions might be there.
Hello,
The
sir.
previous year's questions, the pattern of the
Okay,
questions.
okay,
I
sir.
don't have
Okay,
much of ideas about that.
okay.
I was taking classes, but I didn't know how these questions come.
Okay, no
Sir, can
problem.
you
If you want, I can query and I can tell you in the next class.
Hello, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sir.
sir, which is the last day to submit the assignment?
Huh?
Which is the last day to submit the assignment?
31st
That
March.
also. Hmm?
31st March.
31st March.
Okay, thank you,
Yes, your
thank you.
friends know. So you form a group of your own students so that you can get all these ideas and doubts and discussions you can make among yourselves.
Okay.
Okay.
Already there have so many groups, sir.
Huh?
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have a group.
No,
Sir,
sir,
Yeah, there
no.
have groups.
Now you form a WhatsApp group. You talk among yourselves
That
and form a
already
group. Okay.
Okay, sir.
yes, sir.
we
Any more
already have
questions?
3 groups.
3 groups.
Sir, there are 4 groups already.
Huh?
No, no,
Yeah.
don't make 4 groups. You make one group. That will be better.
Sir, there is a
Okay.
group of English MEG.
Acha.
Yes.
Oh, that will be.
That is good.
Others can join that group.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll meet again on 4th of March as per the schedule. That means
Yes, sir.
day of, on Monday, I think.
Yes, sir.
Monday, 4 o'clock. So all of you please
Yes,
come
sir.
at Monday, 4 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so
Okay,
much,
sir.
sir.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
sir. Thanks a lot.
Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Sunita. Hi, Sunita.
Sunita, you left. Okay, my students, study well.
Sunita?
Same to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hello, Sunita madam. Hello. Hello, Sunita madam. Hello. Hello.
Anyone from Jaspur town?
Hello, Sunita madam. Hello. 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 Hello, Rajashree madam.
ହଁ କୁହନ୍ତୁ।
ମୁଁ କହିଲି MEG-7 ର ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଆଉ ଆପଣ ଲେଖିଲେଣି?
ନାଇଁ ନା ମୁଁ ଲେଖିନି।
ତାପରେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ କୋଉଠୁ ଆମେ ପାଇବୁ?
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ତମର ଏଥିରେ ବା ତମକୁ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି।
ସେଇ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍?
ହଁ ସେଇ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍। ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଘର କୋଉଠି?
କେନ୍ଦ୍ରାପଡ଼ା।
ଓହୋ, ଯାଜପୁରରୁ କେହି ନାହାନ୍ତି ଏଠି?
ଯାଜପୁର ମୁଁ କହିପାରିବିନି।
I think Sunita is from Jaspur, but she is not hearing.
କିଏ ସୁନିତା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଯାଜପୁର?
ହଁ ସେ କହୁଥିଲେ ନା ସେତେବେଳେ ସାର୍ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଚାରୁଥିଲେ ସେତେବେଳେ ସେ କହୁଥିଲେ।
ହଁ
ମୁଁ
କହୁଥିଲେ
ଭାବିଲି ବୋଧେ NC Autonomous କଲେଜ ହେଇଥିବ ତ ସେମ୍ ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ହବ ଟିକେ ଇଜି ହବ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲି। But she is not hearing.
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା।
Okay. Okay, bye guys.
ବାଏ। ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ବିମଳା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ। ହ୍ୟାଲୋ।
Yes.
ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଆସାଇନମେଣ୍ଟ ଲେଖିଲେଣି?
କିଛି ଲେଖିନି, ମୁଁ ତ ଖାତା କରେକ୍ସନ କରୁଛି।
ଆଉ କେବେ କଣ କେମିତି କରିବେ କେମିତି ଆଉ ତ ସମୟ ନାହିଁ ଆଉ।
ତ ଆପଣ ମତେ ନମ୍ବର ଦେଇଥିଲେ, ମୁଁ ସେଦିନ ଯୋଉ MEG-5 ଆମେ ପଢିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ମେସେଜ ଛାଡିଲି, ସେଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କ ନମ୍ବର ନା ଆଉ କଣ ମୁଁ ତାପରେ ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖିଲେନି ମୁଁ ଆଉ ଭାବିଲି ଆଉ କାହାର ଗୋଟେ ହେଇଥିବ ବୋଲି ମୁଁ ଆଉ କିଛି କହିଲିନି।
ମୁଁ ମେସେଜ ଛାଡିଲି?
ହଁ ପ୍ରଫୁଲ୍ଲ ତ?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ପ୍ରଫୁଲ୍ଲ, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଏଇଟା ନମ୍ବର କି? କଣ
ହଁ ମୁଁ
7735923844।
4 ଲାଷ୍ଟକୁ ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ହଁ ମୁଁ ମୋର ନମ୍ବର ବି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଛାଡିଥିଲି।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା।
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ।